platforms, Mark, and just see if we're showing up there in the way that we should be?
Yeah, we're showing up on the Facebook group and YouTube.
And what about
Nice.
LinkedIn? LinkedIn may
Let's see.
LinkedIn may not flow until the time.
Let's see.
LinkedIn has a funny, I think
Yeah.
their like rules are very interesting. Like I never really know what's their policies in terms of like go live.
Yeah, they do. They have a whole different.
Hmm.
I don't think it'll go live until the time,
Oh,
which is not a problem.
yeah. But remember,
What do
it
you?
was funny that like we were so like last year when we did the live streaming.
We're live on LinkedIn.
Oh, we are.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Already. Wow.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Mark, you're doing a great job.
You're doing a
Alright.
fabulous
Joy.
job.
Exactly.
Think it's always.
Let me just make sure.
Maybe
by
change
the
that. Change that word on the screen, Joy.
Oh. Which page should I?
It
Just
doesn't
wait.
matter, but not that one. If you want to put that title page there, we can.
Yeah, let's do a. That's funny though.
It is. I didn't even realize I was just looking on. Oh, that's the
People
wrong.
will be like coming in and then what the hell you guys are doing?
What are these guys talking about? That doesn't seem right.
Crazy people. Let's see. Let me just
Mark, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
So how do we know when, where, and if people are coming in, or there's people that have joined?
We can see it on the live viewers at the left, at the top left. So
Okay. I can't see that. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I can. It does say
I
two.
like the eye.
Okay. Yeah, the eyeball there.
Yeah.
I see that. Okay. Nice.
yeah. Is there anyone on like on the event now or?
Yeah, there is a couple people.
Oh wow.
A couple of them.
Sorry. Where can you on LinkedIn or where?
Say that again, Joy.
Oh, where can I see like who are on?
Walk left. I don't know if you can see who. You can just see there's two.
I see. It might be my colleagues.
Oh, could be.
Let me actually share a image file too.
You know, we could almost just do the introductions, Joy, and then just jump right into that video.
You like the video, right?
I love it. I think it's hilarious, and it's so right on topic, right? So it's
Yeah. The team leader just shared today. Then I was like, let's oh, here's the thing, Mark. Like, how can we actually ship? So I think now let's put like the screenshots I have because it's actually Deep Lumen's background and also our slogan. But then later on, let's play the video. So how can we switch the windows? Oh, great.
Yeah, just
And how do you do that?
there's like a button there that says add stage, and then if it's on the stage, it will say it's removed. Um, like if you wanted to show the video, just add it to the stage, and if you wanted to remove from the stage, just click remove.
I see. That's the thing. I don't really see how do I add the video to stage.
Yeah, just do you see any, like, if you hover on the presentation, like at the bottom, like
Yeah.
where it says betrayal?
It just says add to stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as you hover over it, it gives you the opportunity to add it.
I see. But interesting, I actually don't. Is it because you guys are the hosts, so you guys can actually present
I
or
think you're a
control the?
host too. I think you're a host too.
Oh, I see.
I think you are.
Yeah, I just don't.
So if you hover over that image, it'll say either remove because it's already there, or in the case of the video, it says add to stage. At least it does on mine.
I see. Yeah, it's interestingly, for the screenshots, like the what's on the stage now, I can actually choose among like remove from stage, add a name, remove from studio. But then on like the betrayal one, I actually cannot choose. I don't have the option to add it onto the stage. So maybe I'll just lean on you guys
You just
to.
you let Mark know because he's the expert and he will do it. Yes, Mark.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds
absolutely.
good. So let
Thank
me
you.
thank you. So let me add another image in terms of just in case we yeah. So I think Mark, yeah, this is the later on we might need this, but then for the first one or for the opening, let's just focus on like the cover page of the presentation, which is yeah, this one. Awesome. It's so good to have Mark.
It is. It is. And this system's a lot easier to work with.
It is. Like
Yeah.
it does sounds like a complicated it doesn't seem that much easier than Zoom. Zoom was so much easy, but it just doesn't push to LinkedIn.
Not smoothly. And it
Uh,
wasn't this one's pretty smooth across the different platforms. So that's great. So
mm,
just getting back to the conversation, the other thing that we want to do is to really help senior and everyday marketing people start to think about how they can utilize these new AI tools, especially as it relates to UCP and advertising in their current programs, or if it's just something for them to be aware of, so
yep,
that in the future they can be ready for it.
I
And
see.
you know the answer better than I do with respect to that.
Because yeah, in the afternoon I was talking to a client. They're having like a 1 billion USD dollar business,
Yeah,
and then oh, actually, sorry, 1 billion Chinese yuan. So it's 150 million business, and then yeah, they're like asking exactly the same question. Like, what's really because it does seems like platforms are offering a lot, and there are different platforms. ChatGPT is doing theirs, and then OpenAI is doing something. Sorry, Google and ChatGPT are doing something like slightly different, same goal, right? But then different route. They're choosing between, and they need to figure out exactly what can they do. It's not like one or the other. It's more about what's the best strategy and what's really the status or how mature each platforms are in terms of like commercialization. They don't want to rush into a product of any platform where it's not mature enough. For example, 60 dollars per CPM, it may not be the most ready product because after spending that much money, how like what's the kind of data you're getting,
right.
right? Yeah. But sorry, I'm looking at LinkedIn. Like on LinkedIn, it seems like on like Diploma's page, it's actually showing up at that like the events coming up instead of it's happening. I just want to make sure it's expected.
Um, they they have to go there at the event, and then there's like an event link there at the bottom, and they have to
Yeah,
click link.
yeah. I'm doing it on my phone, but then um I was on the event and then I click into it, but then it's like showing up on the top corner saying that it's coming up soon.
So I'm guessing, Mark, and you help me with this, but I'm guessing that there's two options. So if you're on LinkedIn on our corporate page for Deep Lumen, Joy, they're going to see the event live at the starting time, which is in a couple of minutes. If they
I
click the StreamYard link for the event, they're already seeing us.
I see, got it.
Is that fair, Mark?
Yes.
Sounds good. So, should we just wait for 2 minutes or like 1 minute just to
One
make sure?
minute.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's make sure LinkedIn are we're on live. We go live on LinkedIn.
And I think we should be live there now. No.
Let me double check. Or yeah, let me just quickly see it. Yeah, because my colleague might be joining, so that's why I just want to make sure. Oh, it's
Sure.
happening,
Yep.
but then but there's no video. There's no streaming. It's actually just saying that it's happening. Or Mark, can you see it that it's live?
Well, in the LinkedIn, like they must click the event, and then there's like a link below it. Then they have to click the event link below the event so they can see us on the LinkedIn. Because as of right now, we're not uh like truly connected to LinkedIn. We're just
We're
sharing
a
the
link,
link.
we're a link in it.
Yeah.
Whereas that
Oh,
whereas that's different with YouTube and Facebook.
Um, because like we still don't have like 150 followers on LinkedIn. Once we get 150 followers in there, then we can use that feature.
But the Deep Lumen corporate site is still new. Yeah.
yeah,
All
it's
right. Well, I think we should get going, Joy.
yeah, let's do that. Sounds good.
Well, listen, we want to welcome everybody who's taken the time out to be with us here today. Today we've got an incredible discussion with one of the leading industry proponents as it relates to marketing to AI, and that's Joy Wu. And Joy is the co-founder of Deep Lumen AI, which is bringing a whole new set of technologies to the AI world as it relates to marketing and as it relates to advertising and positioning and all the tools that you're going to need in order to facilitate how well you do in that regard as it pertains to marketing attribution as well as converting clients and developing new opportunities. And with Joy's background in so doing and being part of a number of different AI companies that she has been, we are very pleased to be able to have such expertise on this topic. And I will say that on a go forward basis, we are going to be doing regular sessions talking about marketing to AI and all the topics that relate to it, which is expanding, Joy, as we talk here today.
Thank you, Thomas, for the kind introduction. So hi everyone. My name is Joy Wu. So I'm the co-founder of Deep Lumen. And in terms of, just in case you guys don't know Deep Lumen yet, it's a newly founded company, and we are an AI-first technology company focused on the intersections of AI agent and the global commons. So as the pioneer of the marketing to AI framework, Deep Lumen builds the protocol, infrastructure, and the connectors that allow brands to thrive in an era where machines represent the consumer. So I used to be in the marketing industry for almost like a decade. And then I was also in the AI industry. So I'm always trying to figure out what's the combination of these two together. So 2, 3 years ago, I'm starting to do the AIGC generative AI products. And then that's when I realized that AI might not be ready yet because oftentimes Gen AI products are very fun to play with, like all these like video editor or video creation tools or image creation tools. It's good for consumers, but then it might not be good or ready for business because oftentimes as a brand you want to control all these elements in these images or videos, but you can't really do it because technology is not ready for it. But still, I've been in this trying to figure out what's really the best way to use AI and also leverage AI. And that's when last year when large language model come up with more and more users are using large language model search engines as their primary search engines. That habit has been there. Then that's when I realized, oh, instead of doing any tools in terms of Gen AI, why don't we really focusing on the very fundamental of marketing, the traffic, the users? Like, how can we really drive the traffic from ChatGPT, from all these AI tools into your brand, and really having ChatGPT to really understand what your brand is doing and really trust your brand and also recommend your brand, becoming my thesis since last year. And I've been in this like practice for almost a year, and then I've been helping brands to do their AEO GEO services. But along the way, I realized that AEO GEO is part of the answer or part of the path to best leverage the AI traffic, but there's more behind it. And that's why when Thomas and I are discussing on a regular basis, what can we do to bring the audience, really share with the audience that what's coming up, what's the best way to leverage AI. That's when we decided to have this series of live streaming to really follow the leads of the large platforms, to understand that what's their commercialization path is going to be, and helping brands to really get ready for this AI traffic. That's at least my takeaway from why we're doing this. And how about you, Thomas? And I know most of the audience are probably you're very familiar with, and then all the leaders you've been working with, but there might be some new users. Do you mind sharing a little bit on your background? Don't be too modest because you always do. Please share your background, with
Oh,
the audience,
sure,
and
sure.
also why you're doing this webinar with me.
Sure, sure. Well, thank you for that, Joy. So, without doing, getting too much into it, I've been involved in sales and marketing for 20 plus years, and I've worked with CMOs and marketing people as well as CROs and revenue and leadership globally to help bring results by way of revenue streams and growth to organizations through their brands. And in so doing that over the years, technology has changed. It continues to change and move forward. And AI certainly became a big thing not that long ago, as we all know. And I got involved in doing go-to-market strategies for a number of key, excuse me, AI companies and brands. And so I've been right involved right at the very beginning of this process. So I've seen how AI has dramatically changed the revenue stream and the revenue flow. And what we're talking about today is a continuation of exactly that. And I think that's what's so critical. And I talk to marketing people every single day. And what I'm hearing is that there's still a very large disconnect between what they understand AI can do for them and what they're now doing, right? So what we want to do with this series of live streams over the coming weeks and months is help marketing people connect those dots and consider their options and learn more about the opportunities that they can use for their brands.
That's that's awesome. And I how about let's kick off the session about asking questions about Thomas. What do you think about, like, say, because there are a lot of news on, like, from ChatGPT, OpenAI, and also Google in the past couple weeks. Actually, it's by literally by weeks. Like, all these big platforms are really kind of like coming up with the new news on like what they're going to do with their monetization. But what's your kind of like quick one sentence takeaway of, or your prediction of what's going to be the biggest buzzword
I don't know
among?
if I don't know if I can say anything in one sentence. But what I will say is that there's a huge battle of the giants going on, as you've named them earlier, with respect to that opportunity and the commercialization and the continued attraction of those advertising dollars to be maintained, whether it be with Google or OpenAI or any of the other players. So that's what's going on right now. We're seeing the battle of the titans, and we're also seeing the battle of the up and comers who could yet displace a titan based upon whatever wrinkle they offer the market.
Oh yeah, totally. And how about let me share, because I see something interesting, a quick video
Sure.
today. Why not let me share it with you so that you can see? Let's see. Here we go. Can you guys see it?
How do I communicate better with my mom?
Great.
Great question. Improved communication with your mom can bring you closer. Here are some techniques you can try. Start by listening. Really hear what she's trying to say underneath her words. Build conversation from points of agreement. Find a connection through shared activity, perhaps a nature walk. Or if the relationship can't be fixed, find emotional connection with other older women on Golden Encounters, the mature dating site that connects sensitive cubs with roaring cougars.
What?
Would you like me to create your profile?
Yeah, I'll stop right here. So yeah, this is kind of like how I would love to kick off our conversation. And by the way, the video is actually longer. There are two follow-up like ads. Yeah, or maybe Mark, maybe we can have Thomas and I side by side instead of having the deployment, like because it's just a conversation.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So yeah, what do you think about the video? I just shared.
Well, I mean, it's funny, but it's making an important point, isn't it? And that is when we use these services and these products, and we don't expect nor do we want that kind of interjection by way of an ad inside the use thereof, and that destroys the credibility and the foundation for why we use it in the first place. So there's such an enormous opportunity to use ads, but maybe not in that way.
Exactly. I cannot agree more. And I think Cloud is making a very smart and sharp point on that. And I think they are really mocking what OpenAI is doing just now. Like they're announcing that they're doing ads starting February. But before that, I was like sort of like a little bit look back in 2025 when you think about like OpenAI, ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, Cloud. What kind of news like do you usually see?
Well, when we think about that, and here's the thing: this is moving so quickly that if you're not watching it at least once a week, accidentally or otherwise, the following week it's changed so much you won't even recognize it by the time you do. So what we were seeing in the early and even late fall was that OpenAI through ChatGPT was in fact gaining more and more market share as it related to the search use by way of B2B and businesses of various kinds and so on. And their percentages were going up every month. And Gemini was slowly but surely coming down. What we've seen just in the last few weeks is that shift has stopped and reversed. So now we're actually seeing that Gemini has picked up speed and is now gaining more ground than OpenAI is. But what I will say in addition to that is the entirety of capture by way of AI search from traditional methods is still growing overall very strongly, to the point where now today with B2B and B2C types of customer searches, we're well over 70% today.
Oh wow, you made two very interesting points right there. Like back in 2025, I think a lot of marketers or even users are really they can tell from their own experiences that we're no longer using Google, we're using ChatGPT. We're no longer clicking all the links. We want answers. So that's when the GEO, AEO come into the picture, and then that's actually when we talk about to the brands, we always talk about, oh, what's the dropping from ChatGPT from Google, and what's the rise of ChatGPT. And that's when, like, I remember I was talking to somebody from Amazon, I was talking to somebody from Shopify. They were saying that, wait a second, even though we do know the traffic are changing from Google to ChatGPT, but we don't really see the numbers on the report.
Right.
I think that was like a lot of marketers or CMOs are talking about, like, I see the changes, I cannot make this. Like I feel the changes, but I don't really see it on the report, so I cannot do anything about it. I think that was the challenge last year, where I think what's happening back end is that ChatGPT are doing an excellent job at that point. They're having a lot of traffic, people are actually using it, but there's no links. So whenever I was asking, oh, what's the best AI tools in terms of video creation. They would tell me Runway, Pika, all these good tools, but then there's no link next to it. So what I have to do as a user is that I have to open Google, and then I stuck, like I put like Pika, I put Runway, all these names recommended by ChatGPT into Google, and then having Google to drive me onto the brand's website. So that's what's happening last year. That's also simply because I think mostly because not because of the traffic are coming from Google. It's more about traffic are being influenced by ChatGPT, but because of the lack of billable events, meaning all these clickable links, like ChatGPT are not getting any credit from brands. Hence, brands cannot really
Right.
invest credits or like a budget into ChatGPT. That's what's happening last year. And then to echo your second point, is really ChatGPT versus Gemini. That's a good one because it's like I remember last October, November, we were meeting in Seattle. Gemini was nowhere close to ChatGPT. We're still using ChatGPT, but within like a month or two, even like within a quarter, I think the game are flipping a little bit, where a lot of people are using Gemini. ChatGPT might not be as sexy. Together with the newly announcement of the ads, they're coming up, like open in February. That's actually a lot of users are like, wait a second, I want my AI to be pure instead of an ad place, and that's where the game are shifting quite a bit. But I think the news are saying that hey, ChatGPT are making ads, starting or like inviting brands to do ads, paid ads on channel, starting February. But the reality is that starting last year, they're already doing it, but then it's just not as successful as they're adding ads from time to time, but it's just not as successful. And then I think it was like early January or late December, Ultimate was like putting a red line on like they're not doing ads anytime soon. But then just simply within 1 or 2 months, Ultimate they're announcing the ads. So that's an interesting shift where they wanted to try it, ChatGPT, but then they stopped quickly from the top management. Now they're doing it again. So in such a short time. And like it's interesting, right? Because usually senior management was in such a large management, like in such a large organization, they wouldn't make decisions so roughly. And what do you think might be behind the story?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Behind the story is the same as behind every story, and that's revenue. And they want to produce as much revenue from those potential advertising dollars as they can. And with Google and Gemini, what they saw was a disintegration of the revenue on one side, so they better build it up on the other. And with OpenAI, they've now invested more, money in building their company than they've attracted by way of their market share. So they need to start making a lot more revenue and building up that overall value as well in order to take advantage of both. But all of that said, from the perspective of marketing folks and people out there trying to get results on behalf of their brand, it still comes down to one thing. And that has less to do with advertising and much more to do with whether or not their brand is visible on AI in the first place. Because advertising or not, if your brand is not visible, you're not going to be seen by those using the AI search. And in the end, because that volume is coming up so high, if you continue to put marketing dollars, whether they be for advertising or just for the creation of content with your marketing teams, if you continue to put that in the wrong pot, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of these opportunities as they come up. And here's the tricky bit. And you and I were talking about this earlier. When marketing people look at their dashboards and they look at their attribution and they look at many of the numbers that they've come to rely on by way of seeing results, they're not actually seeing much change there. But at the end of the equation, where we've got actual customer purchases and transactions and conversions, that's not happening. That is now happening through much more through ChatGPT and AI search and those mechanisms. And that's where that's happening. You and I talked about an example, and I love to talk about this because it's real to me. Back in the fall, when we had the opportunity to speak in Seattle, which we
Yeah.
did. The country, the government in the U.S. was closed down for a bit,
Yes.
quite
I remember that.
quite a bit, and I had to find a way to get myself to Seattle in a way where I was confident I was going to get back.
I still remember that conversation you had with me saying that, hey, Joey, are you sure? Because I was in San Francisco and you're like, and we plan to meet up in Seattle. You're like, Joey, are you sure you're taking the airplane? Because it's not working. You might not be able to get back. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I never, coming from like a communism country, like I never realized that strike can be so serious.
Yes, and so based upon that concern, you flew, and I kind of I decided that I was going to check and see if there were other opportunities. So I went to ChatGPT and I did a little bit of research on whether or not, in this case, there was a train, and of course Amtrak came up within ChatGPT, and 5 minutes later, and this is the interesting bit, I had booked my trip on Amtrak and had completed the transaction. And when I was finished, I came out, I was still inside ChatGPT. So the entire transaction happened within ChatGPT, right? So I never went off site. ChatGPT gave me the information from Amtrak. I connected, and the whole thing was done right inside of ChatGPT. And that is an enormous shift. And that's kind of what we're talking about, right? And if Amtrak hadn't been in the position they are by way of AI search, right? And they weren't brought up and other choices were, that may not have happened, and it certainly wouldn't have happened with Amtrak. So that's the point, and this for any brand, for B2C, D2C or B2B, for any brand in any of those industries, that is the biggest change that has happened. We've got a question here from Barbara. I like this question. How do you see paying ads would affect the credibility of the platforms? I put that to you, Joy.
It's perfect to like your explanation about what's happening with your Amtrak experience, because I still remember so vividly that last year you talked to me about that. That's actually a good answer to what Eva is asking about, because so quickly there are two mainstream, like from my, like, because I'm in the business, but I wouldn't say I'm the top expert, because there's no top expert in this industry at this point. Even the CEO of like OpenAI, Fiji, she might not have the best answer to this, because the entire industry are really discussing what's the best format to do advertisement for these large language models or AI searches. So Eva, you're asking an excellent question. And then there are two, from my understanding or my observation in this industry, is that there are two ways to do it. Number one is really marketing, meaning that you're still doing ads. Doesn't matter, it's during the answer Q&A. So a user asks a question, and then in the answer there are ads or like brand affected answers to promote certain brand. That's called AEO and GEO. Platforms are not doing that. It's more like service providers are helping brands off the table to do it, so that ChatGPT or all these AI searchers will remember your brand and recommend your brand. That's during the Q&A session. And beneath that, there's like a sponsor ads section, which is what ChatGPT is coming up in February, charging $60 per CPM, which is crazy number, because this is the same cost almost as if you were a brand, you want to do advertisement on Super Bowl. But then on Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure they give you stats. But for ChatGPT, even if you do that $60 per CPM, and the minimum investment on that ad campaign is, I remember, $200K USD dollars, you're not getting much data on it because data privacy policies. But then again, the answers or like the recommended ads or the paying ads are showing up with a label saying that it's sponsored ads after the Q&A session of user in ChatGPT. That's what ChatGPT is doing now. It's almost, to me, it's almost like if you were in a traditional internet era where you're really monetizing your traffic. But then again, it's not, is it really as smart? Because in the traditional traffic or like internet era, you really need to, like, every single places you can place ads, that's where your ad placement will be. Like, open up Google, out of 10 links there are like at least three or more are sponsored ads, so they optimize the traffic users are seeing, like optimize the traffic, and also like users are seeing ads. So within one page, one user's intersection or sessions, they see at least two or three or even more ads. But what ChatGPT is doing, that they're using the original way, saying that users during your intersection or your sessions with this website or this product, meaning ChatGPT, you will see sponsored ads, but that's only one placement. And also it's a subset of what usually ads should be. So it's actually like a smaller monetization scale in terms of traditional internet traffic monetization. And that's what ChatGPT is taking the route. That's the first way. It's very traditional. It's still, again, traffic monetization. A second way, I think I'm voting on that, is really your experience, Thomas, with Amtrak. Is that instead of giving you an advertisement while you're asking the best train choices, they actually the LLM is actually using their like AI agent capability to help you to choose the best time slot on the right platform, meaning Amtrak, but then helping you to complete all the transactions within one platform, within this like whole ecosystem smoothly. So that's another way to do AI advertisement. Of course, like at Amtrak, in the long run, should pay ChatGPT if your booking is through ChatGPT, right? So that's another way for advertisement, but it's really just agentic commerce. Yeah, and it's a big buzzword now in like say Google January 11th, they just announced UCP for agentic commerce, meaning that their UCP is the full name for UCP is Universal Commerce Protocol. It's actually, the whole background is that Google wants to create a agentic commerce platform. So once you go to Google Gemini, you don't need to leave to make any transaction. You make transactions within the whole Q&A, booking, choices, final payment processes. It's a lot more smoother than the traditional. You search on Google, you click onto Amazon, and then you complete transactions over there. It's actually, and you choose like within Amazon yourself, because you do everything on yourself. But now with agentic or agents are coming into place, they can actually help you to make the final decision. They can even help you to pay. So that's where I think the future of advertisement with LLM should be. Because if it's really just the traditional traffic monetization, it's not going to be successful. Like Eva mentioned, that people are not going to trust you. If the 5 answers, like what's the best sneakers of 2026, out of the 5 answers AI is answering me, 3 or 2 are ads, people are not going to use you anymore. Yeah. But then another way to do it is really, if under the top 5 choices of the what's the best sneakers of 2026, there's a sponsor ads. It's a subset of what can maximize my time sessions with the platform. So it's not going to be successful either. But imagine if I ask the same question, they actually help me with the final purchase of the right sneakers I would really want, with the best pricing on the entire platform within one platform, within ChatGPT. I'm more than happy to pay, the platform or the brand are more than happy to pay a split or a commission to ChatGPT. So that's called agentic commerce, and I think that's the future. And Google is announcing some product called UCP to facilitate all the brands to be on the same standards with what Google needs in order to create that agentic commerce future. And Meta, literally I think this week, they come up with news that they're doing agentic commerce as well. And ChatGPT is doing it, but they're not announcing it yet. Interestingly, maybe because they're not really good at it yet. They want to be more mature and secretly like work with brands in terms of agentic commerce ecosystem before they launch it as a big boom. But I do see at least Meta, at least Google are already saying that they're doing agentic commerce as sort of like their commercialization ways of the AI era. So I won't be surprised that like ChatGPT is announcing something soon like this. I hope long answer, but I hope I answered your question, Eva.
Eva got more than she bargained for there, I think, but it was a great question and a great answer. But I will say this to all of that. What this does is it highlights the ever shifting ground beneath our feet. especially as marketing professionals, and how we are going to utilize these changes and these tools and these opportunities in the best way to promote and to convert our brands into revenue. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? And that's really what we want to do. And there's so much that we didn't even yet get to today, Joy, with respect to this conversation and all the elements. But I think what we've done today is to begin the conversation. And what we really wanted to do was to continue this on a weekly basis going forward. And you and I, and we're going to have other guests on as well, both in terms of brands as well as industries, and professionals to come up and give us their take and give us their position so that the audience can continue to ask great questions like that, Eva. Yes, thanks again for that, Eva. So that we can really get into what impacts your brand so that you can have the best results. Because there's an old line that I really love, and it's what got you here today will not get you there tomorrow.
I cannot agree more.
And that's what we have to. So just because you've been doing all these things so well over the last number of years, we've got to continue to evolve and to continue to bring in those elements that even make that better. So we're not throwing everything out. SEO is still critically important, but now AEO or GEO, both of them, are a big part of that to bring it all together and to utilize some of these things that Joy's talking about by way of the new UCP or protocol, both from Google as well as the one from ChatGPT, which is called ACP.
A lot of terminologies, and that's what,
these you got to keep a cheat sheet just of the acronyms.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what this whole live streaming series is really for, because there's a lot of big buzzword or new terminology, UCP, like ACP, AEO, GEO, all these. And CMOs might be really get confused, but then agree with you, Thomas, 100% is that if you're like a CMO or like a business owner of, say, a brand with like $20 million revenue or GMV in 2025, do you think like what changes? Or if you think you use the same strategy in 2026 in terms of marketing, like how do you still confident that you're going to keep that 20 million GMV? Maybe yes, maybe most likely not. Just look at ChatGPT. They're not doing exactly what users want, even though they were leading in terms of AI searches. And now they might not be They might not be, right? And that's where I think this year might be really interesting. And that's why I want to do the live streaming, is because, and also that's the reason why I'm doing the deep movement, is because I think 2026, the biggest buzzword in the AI world is commercialization. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of changes. There are a lot of bets. Very chaotic. We don't really know who's going to win. But it's very important that if your brand and you're not following all these trends and sees clearly that what's ahead of you in terms of all these fighting against all these AI searches, and prepare in the right way with the right help, you might lose that 20 million GMV very quickly. And that is exactly what Deep Lumen here is for, and what Thomas and Velocity Sales are for, and what this live streaming is for. This is just a beginning, and our session is just the start of it. So can't wait for the weekly conversation we're going to have, and really helping and work together, discuss or share with the audience together to see what's ahead of us.
Yeah, and I look forward to all of that as well, and especially to help brands move through this. But bear in mind, and I keep coming back to this, but it's critical. If you're not showing up on AI search today, all of these conversations are moot. So the very first thing you have to do as a brand is to make sure and understand where you're coming up on AI search today, and then what you're going to do about that. Because the odds are pretty good that you're not. And therefore, who is, why are they? What are the questions your clients and customers are asking, and how can you fix that so that now you can get to the point where you can dominate your brand, so that these kinds of opportunities that we're talking about become relevant for you as a business.
Exactly. And can't wait for next week's session.
Me either. And we want to thank everybody for taking the time. And you will see the announcement for next week soon and going forward from there. Thank you so much, Joy. It's always a pleasure talking with you and learning everything I can from you.
Oh, thank you, Thomas. And thanks to all the audience for joining us, and looking forward to see you guys soon. And leave us comments on LinkedIn, either Deep Movement or Velocity Sales, with all the questions you have. And we will be more than happy to answer it in our next live streaming.
Thank you.